Idaho is in the news a lot lately, and I think there's some assumptions being made about our state. I want to go into 5 of the things that people realize after moving to North Idaho. Let's go. So welcome back. It's the North Idaho Lindsay YouTube channel, and I want to go into some things that I think are worth clearing up. Idaho is in the news a lot lately. Fastest growing state, hottest real estate markets, best economy, and we're attracting a lot of attention. But people are making assumptions about what to expect when you move to North Idaho. And I help a lot of people relocate here, and I want to break down some of the things that people tell me about what they didn't realize that or they didn't expect it once they moved here. So one of the first things that people always tell me is that it's so clean up here. And I would say you could expect that pretty much everywhere around the state. But North Idaho, when you come up here, we see a lot of people that come in from higher density urban areas like Seattle and Southern California, Portland area, Denver. In these large metro areas, of course, you're gonna see more people and more crime and more homelessness and maybe even a lack of resources for cleaning things up around town, picking up trash or keeping streets clean. One thing that I do know about North Idaho is that it's so clean up here, and every time I come back home I am so appreciative of that. It adds to the quality of life. We don't have, and it's unfortunate that other places have these, but we don't have the homeless encampments. We don't have the highly visible, maybe drug and crime problems. And for some reason, the city of Coeur d'Alene is so good about keeping the streets clean. They're on, gravel removal once the weather clears in the springtime, getting all the streets swept and everything cleaned and the sidewalks cleaned up. And the other thing too is we just have a lot of people who care about our community and they want to keep it looking beautiful, because that's obviously a huge driver for our community is the tourism and hospitality and the recreation. So, beach cleanups, Tubbs Hill cleanups, highway cleanups, even just people out and about recreating in the great outdoors. Everyone's really proud of where we live. So you are gonna see people caring about the cleanliness and the safety. And so just know that, yes, it's very clean and it's always that way. And we're very proud of it. Next thing that I like to talk about is Idahoans, especially people who are born and raised here, are really proud of Idaho. I can tell you, I've never lived anywhere else, and sometimes I, think I wish I would have gone abroad or lived somewhere else after college or gone somewhere else for school. But now, in my late 30s, I'm really proud of the state that I come from. I grew up in Boise. I went to school at the University of Idaho in Moscow, and I live in Coeur d'Alene. I'm very familiar with all corners of the state, and I am so proud of this state. The people are kind. The people are nice. We have an incredible quality of life. I think the culture of our state is about helping neighbors, about having integrity and being hard workers. And I think that comes from our agricultural and our blue collar roots. Southern Idaho, it's lots of farms and ranches. In Northern Idaho, mining and lumber. So we just are a really proud, type of, local. Anyone, especially who's been born and raised here, is really proud of Idaho. So next thing that I think people realize when moving here is, Idaho gets a good rap for being pretty conservative and reducing government regulation and intervention, but Idaho is not as conservative as I think a lot of people assume. We get a large constituency of law enforcement and firefighters and other public servants from California that have moved up here. And so there definitely is a healthy population of conservative and like-minded people up here, but we definitely have people up here who swing on to the other side of the spectrum. Boise, for example, too, is one of our largest metropolitan areas, and they tend to definitely lean a little more left. So, I know Idaho is, traditionally considered a very red state, but it's not 100%. There are definitely some people on the opposite end of the aisle. Even in North Idaho, you'll see that. So another thing that people realize after moving here is North Idaho isn't as small as they assumed that it is. We have traffic here, and if you have lived here for 10 or more years, you've felt that traffic, and definitely the locals are bothered by the traffic more so than, people moving here from bigger cities, because they're used to sitting in traffic and they're used to, living outside of town and having long commutes. But it is not as small as people assume that it is. In another one of my videos, I mentioned that this Coeur d'Alene, Spokane area is known as the Inland Northwest. The Inland Northwest has 750,000 people that live here, between here and Spokane, and we are intermingled as communities. We're over in Spokane as much as Washingtonians are here in Idaho. So this community has 750,000 people that live here. So it's not as small town as some people assume that it's going to be. We do have amenities. We do have, international airports and restaurants and entertainment. We have a lot of those things. We've got a Costco. So we are not as small as people assume that we are. And then one thing that I like to bring note of that some people, it's not the most common thing that people come to tell me, but it's just such a stark difference from where they come from. We have so much space in North Idaho. I did a little research just to kind of bring about some perspective on the space that we have here. The panhandle of Idaho, essentially Lewiston North, the panhandle of Idaho is geographically about the same size as the state of New Jersey. New Jersey has 9.3 million people that live in that state. We have 1.8 million people that live in the entire state of Idaho, but in the panhandle, just the panhandle of Idaho, there are less than 400,000 people that live here just in the panhandle, and we have the same amount of space as New Jersey. So to just put that into perspective, we have 4% of the population of New Jersey in that same amount of geographic space. There is so much space in Idaho. A ton of that obviously is publicly owned lands, recreational lands, but it's just a stark difference from a lot of people that come from more crowded areas. They feel the density downtown and, in Coeur d'Alene, but kind of once you get outside of that, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. We've got a ton of space, a lot of ability to explore, and people really appreciate that. So, like I said, it's really clean here. Idahoans are very proud of their state and their community. We're not as conservative as everyone thinks that we are. And we aren't as small as everyone thinks that we are, but we've got a ton of space. So those are some things that I know that I gather from conversations from clients that move here, their realizations about North Idaho, and I wanted to share them with you. If you have other realizations about North Idaho or questions or comments or concerns, make sure to drop them below and I'll make sure to answer. Thank you as always for joining us. We've got new videos weekly. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date. You guys have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye.